I am like fresh off of a full mental breakdown.
What happened? The dog ate your homework?
No, I just had the worst week. And it's only Tuesday.
Wait, what happened? I need more details. You gotta fill me in.
I feel like...
Listen.
I just feel like work is busy, and my personal life is trash, and the weather is depressing, and I'm just...
Allergies picking up.
I'm just in a bad place.
Well, that's one of the perks of living in New York City, I guess. You know.
And we're gonna get into that today.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi guys, welcome back to the best, fastest growing podcast on the interwebs.
Wait, we should share some of our results with them. Our stats, guys. We're 132nd in Jamaica in terms of in the comedy section.
Yes.
There are only 135
we're number
podcasts in Jamaica in the comedy
and we're
section.
ranking. We're number 13 in Guyana overall. Guyana probably has 13 podcasts.
Yes, exactly. Thank you guys. We appreciate it. To the Grammy Award Board, we appreciate this nomination. And
yes, but thank you for listening because we have gotten great feedback.
We have. One of which was to make our background more homey. So we did nothing.
Yeah, well, we didn't do anything this episode, but we will be filming in a different place coming in the future. We are working on it.
We could put like a stripper pole in the middle here.
Well, if you'll dance, then yes, we can.
Oh, I will shake my ass and I will make that cash. Y'all don't know me.
And if you don't know what you're listening to or who you're listening to right now,
that makes three of us.
That makes three of us. But this is the F My Life podcast. My name is Nona Lisa. I am your host, and I am here with my brother, my best friend, your future baby daddy, Lyde.
Or your future, stealer of your husband.
Yes, Lyde is definitely the type of guy that would steal your man from right under your nose.
Take his money, take his credit card, pay my bills.
And not have any regrets about it.
I won't. The only regret I have is not taking more money.
Yeah, he would take the cash out of your children's college fund, to be honest.
592 or was it 502 fund? Whatever they call it.
Whatever they call it. Your 401k gone. Your Roth IRA gone. Everything gone.
I take the Roth out of Roth, baby.
Oh my God! You know what you remind me of now? Have you heard of the Tinder swindler?
No, I haven't.
You don't know about the Tinder swindler?
I'm not on Tinder. I got banned. Remember?
Oh, no. The Tinder Swindler is this documentary that came out on Netflix, and it's about this guy that pursues women that they might be a little desperate, but they have money, and he takes them out. And
sounds like the straight version of me.
He takes them out, and he shows them a good time, builds a relationship with them, but then he pretends like he needs money and that he's in trouble, and he asks these women to help him. And he's asking for like 20, 30, 40K, 100K. And because the women have it...
They're vulnerable. Like, are these older women who are more vulnerable to these attacks?
They were not all older women. Some of them were in their 30s, some of them late 20s. But they had it, and they had this relationship with him.
Hold a second. So you're saying we have gullible women like that living amongst us?
Of course.
In our species?
Yes.
That's a problem. Joe Biden?
It could have never been me, baby.
Well, first of all, in order to give $25,000,
I need
thou shalt have $25,000.
I need to have in my possession $25,000.
You need to be $25,000 liquid. I'm not saying in your brokerage account, locked up in Bitcoin. No, I mean like $25,000 in your checking account and take back.
Yeah, and be able to give it to him. And I think one of the ladies, I did not watch the documentary, but I tried to just get the...
Learn from their mistakes?
Well, no, I mean...
You will never make those mistakes.
I will never make those mistakes, baby. But there was one woman who apparently took out a loan in order to give him this money.
You see, that's love.
That is love.
Why one y'all man can't take out a loan and give it to me?
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
So that's why you should have paid your ex's credit card bills of $44K.
Oh, fuck that nigga.
But yeah, the Tinder swindler is out there, and apparently he's still out and about. He's been banned from Tinder, but he's out living his life.
God. Does that mean we sit in the same population?
Yes.
I was banned from Tinder too.
If you don't know, Lyde and I, we were banned from Tinder.
And
we're not completely sure why.
First of all, you can't share pictures on Tinder, so I did not share any of my nudes, okay? Y'all don't know what my nudes look like on Tinder. So, what, did I say something bad to somebody? Did I not swipe right?
That's the thing. I know that I don't have any nudes, so there's no way that I sent anything crazy. But I don't think I said anything crazy in the DMs.
You know what it
messages.
might be? It might be that, like, you probably just ignored people that you swipe right on.
And a friend told me that if 3 people report your profile for whatever reason, that makes you eligible to be banned. So.
That's so weird because on Tinder there's a lot of bots, like a lot of fake profiles,
yes.
Pretending to be people, real people. Mm-hmm. What if some of those just automatically just report you and then all of a sudden... Like, Tinder needs a better infrastructure to investigate this, you know what I mean? It's absolutely. Not just a matter of anyone who can... if someone reports me for, indecent language, then they should be able to, when reporting me, submit evidence, like a screenshot of what I said.
Yes, exactly. And also, reporting me for indecent language, I mean...
Baby, we on Tinder, like...
We on
ass,
Tinder.
fuck, sex. Yeah, it's all balls.
Pee-pees.
From the window to the wall.
From the window to
the wall.
I am not going to sing on this podcast. Nobody needs to hear that.
If y'all want to see me twerk, go on YouTube.
No, they should subscribe to your OnlyFans.
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you, Dodo. On that
Great segue.
Hashtag Lightford OnlyFlans.
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 I love flan.
I love flan. If you love a nice vanilla flan, slide in my DMs.
Oh my god, I want flan and tres leches.
Tres leche, yes. And then we will definitely be single for the rest of our lives because of all the weight we gain.
I feel like tres leches is just the best cake. Maybe apart from cheesecake.
Because it has 3 milks in it?
Yeah, because there's 3 milks in it.
I want a man's tres leches.
This is...
a PG-13 podcast. I'm sorry, guys.
This is not
Put your kids to sleep. Don't let
This is a rated R podcast. Don't let your kids listen to this. But I came off my mental crisis, and I'm trying to get it together. But how has your week been?
My week has been great. Doing a lot of work, trying to get my business. Keeping it steady, holding it up, making sure the employees do what they're supposed to do. Yes, I have employees for those of you wondering. But
Light as a boss.
I think you should contextualize your mental, not illness, but problems. Well, we do have mental illness, but we'll get to that.
We both have mental illnesses.
I think you should contextualize it, and reshape the way you think about it, because at the end of the day, we live in such a huge city where so much is happening. We're competing for resources, rent prices going up, housing prices going up, food prices going up. Things are changing a lot. So the byproduct of those changes could be a little bit of anxiety that you're facing, right?
Yeah, and that's it's very interesting that you mentioned that. I used to live in Guyana. Well, we both lived in Guyana.
Oh, no, you lived in Guyana.
We both lived in Guyana, and we moved in our late teens. So I've lived here for about... I'm close to 8 years.
You aged yourself.
Yeah, I've lived here for about close to 8 years. You were probably 10.
Yeah, probably.
Close to 10 years.
More of a seasoned Westerner.
And I don't know what it is. For some reason, well, Guyana has a city. Guyana is developed to some extent, but it's not like one of these big cities like New York, skyscrapers and stock exchange.
We literally just discovered oil, which is now taking off. So y'all watch out.
And I just can't help but wonder, people, my life compared to how do I say this? I'm wondering if I was happier in living in Guyana, in Georgetown, in that city, than living in New York, in a big city.
Yeah, that's
and I feel like New York has a lot of mentally ill people and they don't realize, and is the city a part of why they're that way?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. The city is a part of... I definitely feel like the incidence of mental illness in cities are higher. We just look at the past weekend, right? We had 6 attacks on commuters in the subway by clearly mentally challenged people.
Yeah.
These aren't people out there with some vendetta. They have some ingrained intrinsic problem that they're trying to deal with, and as a result they lash out on people that they see around them living in the subways. First of all, that's very sad, and I'm sorry to those people, some people who have even lost their lives as a result of it. But then, like, we need to get to the root causes of these problems. Like, what is the root cause of these mentally ill people? Like, what are the challenges they're facing? And I think one thing to point out is that large cities tend to attract people who already have, like, these predispositions, like, who already have some kind of challenges. So they come to these large cities to kind of, usurp on the infrastructure that already exists. Like, for example, if you're homeless, you'd come to New York City because you could live in the subway. Like, it's so vast and expansive. Like, you can sleep and live in the subway, for example. There's a lot of excess food, like, that goes into garbage. You can use that, for example, as food. So I think the city, by its very nature, just attracts a lot of people who are mentally challenged.
Agreed. And for some reason, I don't know, a lot of things tend to happen in the subways as well. And is it just the fact that we have all these people together trying to get somewhere? Like, there's this big crowd, there's this rush, trying to get somewhere. Even the traffic in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the noise pollution, the smells even, like the competition for resources just adds to it's like the iron gets hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter, right?
Yes.
Like, people, we're facing so much that generally our baseline changes. Like, what would have been our baseline growing up in maybe a regular suburban area?
Yeah, like your baseline of tolerance.
Tolerance for these, the overcrowding, the noise, the pollution, the sounds, and the hustle and bustle. Your tolerance for all those factors just increases, I think, once you're in a city. And that's something I notice about myself personally. Mm-hmm. Like, I was a much more calm person. I was much more, like, laissez-faire, like, going about my day. But now I'm just, like, always thinking about, okay, what next can I do? How can I be productive? Like, how can I compete with, my neighbor, well, not necessarily my neighbor, but, just metaphorically speaking, like, how can I one-up someone who is trying to get what I want in this city, this very big city?
Yeah, I absolutely relate to that. Like, I have so much anxiety about the future, and I'm always thinking about, what else can I do? How can I make this better? I lose sleep over this.
Same.
And I don't know at what point I became like this, because I wasn't always like this. Even when I was going to college, and I went to Baruch in the city, I wasn't thinking about all this. It's when I think it's when I, like, officially joined the corporate world and started working a corporate job where I was like, all right, let's see how we can one-up every year.
Yeah, and literally the system pits you against each other, right? I feel exactly the same way. Like, overthinking is a job, baby girl. Overthinking is a side job,
and we are
that we don't make no money from,
and we are fully employed.
We are fully employed. We are overemployed. What was it? Overeducated.
Overeducated.
I do not know how to turn my brain off. Like, I cannot have like a peaceful night's rest or like a peaceful 10 minutes on a weekend just like chilling and watching Netflix. Like, it's just not happen.
I certainly, on the scale of anxiety and overthinking, you're worse though, because if we go on vacation, I can take like a couple hours and not think about anything, but you have to like always be like, he'll wake up early in the morning and be like, all right, I'm going to the gym, then we're going to breakfast, and I'm like barely turning over in bed.
Guys, I'm the definition of go to the gym every day, but still fat. If you're watching.
Don't say that. Oh my god. You're on a journey.
No, but she's right. She's absolutely right. Like, even on vacation, I'm like, I need a structured agenda.
Yeah.
I need an itinerary. Like, going to the bathroom is on the list of things I have to do. You know what I mean? It's a thing. Like, I make it a thing. I go to the gym even on vacation, even though I may fuck around in the gym, but like, I need to go to the gym. But that is so bad, and I need to work on that. Like, how do I just like turn off and just shut my brain off and just sit still, look pretty?
I think what's gonna happen is that you're just gonna work and work and work, and one day you're gonna like your cup will runneth over.
Amen, Lord Jesus.
And you're gonna like spiral. And you're gonna be like, I need to go away for like a month.
I like this prognosis, and I like the what you hope for my future. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But I agree. I think that is exactly how I will learn, and I will learn the hard way. I'll just realize one being like, fuck it, I'm not doing anything, and just sit home.
You're just gonna explode one day, and I'm not gonna hear from you for like a month, and you're gonna go to like Argentina and do ayahuasca and like live in the jungle to get away from people.
You know Spanish first, but yeah, I guess.
Didn't you take a year of Spanish at Cornell?
13 credits, baby. Let's go.
You took 13 credits of Spanish?
Oh, and my professor was from Colombia. He was hot.
And you still don't know.
If you don't use it, you lose it, baby girl. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm like.
Oh, you've dated a lot of Spanish guys though, so you could have practiced.
Girl, they didn't know more Spanish. They didn't even know English.
Oh,
they didn't know Spanish either. They just spoke like mental illness.
Yeah, we have we've encountered a few people with mental illnesses.
Right. Have you ever tried dating a guy with mental illness?
Have you ever tried dating in New York?
That should be a course in college, like dating people with mental illnesses.
How to recognize mental illnesses. Because I didn't know how to recognize them before.
Well, I always felt like mental illness begot mental illness, so only mental illness would recognize mental illness.
Oh yes, so because you are mentally ill, you are attracting the mentally ill.
Baby, yes, of course. Like attracts like. Don't listen to what they tell you out there. Opposites attract? Oh hell no. Let me tell you, baby girl. Like attracts like. Mentally ill equal mentally ill square.
Birds of a feather flock to feather.
Flock to feather. That's it. That's really it.
So, I don't know if you remember, I dated this Puerto Rican guy. And I'm not saying...
Which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Okay, you don't have to expose my whole past. But the thing is...
Your whole past or your whole past?
My whole past. I'm not saying... Well, I love Puerto Rican people. Let me start. This is gonna sound bad. I love Puerto Rican people. I love Puerto Rican women, men, food. I've been to Puerto Rico. I want to move to Puerto Rico.
Salsa guru.
But this guy was Puerto Rican, and that was the first red flag.
Puerto Rican freak. Yes, no, literally. Like, their flag is red even. Like, duh. Like, you should know this guy.
No,
Puerto Rican flag is red.
Puerto Ricans, I love you. You have my heart.
Viva Puerto Rico.
Viva Puerto Rico. I love Puerto Rico. But, so we dated. We went out for a bit. I would say about a month.
Did you do the dirty?
That is nobody's business.
Okay.
And
moving on.
We fell off because I knew he liked somebody else, and I wanted to be like exclusive and boyfriend girlfriend, the whole thing.
What was like the inflection point? What made you just like fell off the cliff?
Well, we had stopped talking, and we used to text here and there and see each other randomly, but it wasn't, it was not dating, so to speak. So one night, he told me to come over. So I go over there. I was bartending at the time. I finished my shift early.
Cue the music.
And I went over there, and I walked into his apartment. He was butt naked, crawling on the floor. Crawling!
What in the exorcism of Emily Rose?
Literally, he was butt naked, crawling on the floor, and I'm like, I go in, I'm like, are you okay? And he's visibly...
Suitable question for a suitable scenario.
Right? Yeah. He's visibly...
Excuse me.
He's visibly drunk.
Shaken or shaven?
Maybe high, butt naked. I'm trying to pick him up off the floor.
Oh, so you guys did it on the floor?
No, he was drunk.
Oh.
I picked him. He was very tall and kind of large, so he was heavy. But I tried to pick him up off the floor, put him on the couch, and he was fighting me. He was pushing me off, and eventually.
Oh no! I'm about to call PETA. This is domestic abuse.
PETA's not for domestic abuse. So I pick him up halfway, and he stands up, and then the door to the apartment was open. He runs out the door into the yard naked, and it's raining.
Oh, he was on the first. He lived on the first floor of the apartment.
Yes, and he was naked, and it was raining. And
wait, was this in the summer?
No.
In the cold?
Yes.
Oh no.
He was naked. 2, it was raining. 3, it's 2 a.m. because I just finished bartending and went over there.
Oh. So the neighbors were asleep at least.
I literally ran after him in the yard to try to drag him back into the apartment. And I don't know, he kept saying, I drank these pills. So I'm thinking, did he try to kill himself? What kind of pills? What is going on?
Oh, nah, you see me? I would have done get the fuck out of there, because if he drank the pills, he can die by the pills.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be there with the pills and him.
It was absolutely insane. Eventually,
oh my God, that's so traumatic. No,
it is very traumatic. Eventually, he calmed down, and I put him to bed, and he fell asleep, and I left. And I thought about calling a doctor or 911 or whatever, because I don't know what kind of pills he took.
Yeah, you didn't even see a bottle or anything?
No, I looked. I went to the kitchen, I went to the bedroom, I looked. And
damn.
I say all that to say I did end up speaking to him after that, and he doesn't even remember that happened. I mean, I found out eventually.
Did he call you crazy for saying?
No, he didn't call me crazy, but he didn't believe me, I believe. Excuse me. But I eventually found out that he was a Marine and he had PTSD.
You know what? Well, I must commend you on such bravery. I personally would not have done all of that you have done. The minute I saw him crawling on the floor, I would have crawled out of the apartment.
Yeah.
I would not have engaged in such a situation because, first of all, I am an exorcist.
I really, I'm right now I'm reliving it, and I'm kind of like,
You need a drink?
No, I have PTSD from his PTSD.
Oh, nah. You see, I tell y'all, the theme of this podcast is whatever begot whatever, okay? It's simple. PTSD begot PTSD, mental illness begot mental illness.
And he had real problems, and he was suicidal and all these things, and it's just crazy that
This wasn't on his Bumble profile?
No, in the beginning, when we were actually dating and hanging out, I don't feel like I saw any signs.
Oh, nah. Wolf in sheep's clothing. You see, I tell y'all gotta do your homework, you know what I'm saying? Don't find out the hard way like don't find out by anecdote. You gotta find out beforehand.
But how do you know?
I'm kidding. I really don't have any
people aren't even aware. People aren't even aware that they have problems. Like, I'm fully aware of my bullshit. And I can talk about mine. And I believe you can talk about yours.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of my mental problems too, but wait, am I?
Not all of them, maybe.
If I were to list them out, I'd probably say like one thing, maybe like bulimia.
that's a topic for another podcast. How are you supposed to recognize when people have mental problems? And not only how do you recognize it, how do you have that conversation? Like, maybe you need to do a little work on yourself.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely not one of the laundry list questions you'll bring to a first date scenario. And there's definitely really no way to find out until you get into the weeds. Because on first dates, people always put on a facade. They always show you the best impression of themselves, the side of them that you'll probably never ever see again.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a matter of maybe there might be subtle red flags, but then again, maybe not in the first couple dates, but after a while, I think you'll get into it. I think the problem though is once you see the red flag, you kind of ignore it. I think that's the problem that many people face. They kind of ignore it and they brush past it and be like, oh, it's not really what it is. You gotta call a sword a sword. Like, you see it, you gotta recognize it and then immediately point it out and do something about it. Yeah. Whether you decide to stick with them or you don't, it's up to you. Hopefully you decide not to, because it depends on what the mental illness is like and what you're willing to put up with, like what your risk tolerance is. But I just think it's really hard to decipher early on in getting to know someone and dating someone. It's sad.
Absolutely. Also, I've now that I am so good at recognizing when people have, internal work to do, because I've done the work. So I know what it takes. I know what it looks like. I can recognize it. I know when people are projecting their bullshit on other people.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to see the people around me now, like, oh, you have that problem.
Yeah.
You need to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Even with my parents, like, my parents have their fair share of issues and stuff. But a part of me feels kind of kind of bad maybe calling some people out on their stuff because I don't want to be a bitch.
That's always a tricky conversation to have. And
not just with like dating, with like friends, siblings, whoever.
Yeah, how do you fix the mental problem that you're seeing emerge? For me, I'm a very feedback loving person. Like, I love feedback. Like, even at work, I ask my superiors, like, do you have any feedback for me? Like, is there anything you think I could work on? Like, I can improve. I love when people give me constructive feedback because I feel like I can always learn from it, obviously. But the majority of the people out there, they don't really take well to feedback in any way. Like,
I don't even think people really look inwardly that much, to be honest. And I don't know if it's just because they're so busy with their lives, but
It takes work. It takes mental capacity to look inward and really reflect.
And be like
reflection should be a part of your daily regimen.
Yeah. And be like, well, why did I blow up on my brother the other day or my boyfriend? Well, what led to that?
Yeah. People don't think about that.
They
just know that they blew up on their brother or whoever it was, and then they're gonna, take that scenario and kind of like make it worse. Like, trying to get other people in their teams and on their side, and kind of like it just gets worse from there, rather than thinking about, okay, what caused this in the first place?
Yeah.
How do I get to the initial issue? Is there a better way I could have approached this, right? Like, thinking about the alternative should be a part of your reflection. What could I have done differently?
Yes, and now that I've learned so much, I think about what could I have done better first before I blame anyone else in a situation that may have not, gone well.
And I think that gets to a core issue. And the issue is, do you care, right? Do you care about how you treat people, how you could have treated them differently, how to treat others in the future, right? What you can learn from this lesson? Like, it really comes down to, do you even care? And we live in a big city where care is at a premium right now.
Yeah.
No one has time to stop and think.
Yeah.
People are foraging for basic necessities out there.
And there's absolutely no sense of community unless, like, you have to, like, live in a suburban area. There's no sense of community in the city. I don't even know who some of my neighbors are.
Same.
I could disappear tomorrow and nobody would miss me, like, in my neighborhood.
Right.
The West generally has, like, this individualistic culture.
Independent.
Like, in the Caribbean and Guyana, it's all family first, you always include family. You take care of your
Guyana,
parents.
there's a saying, the village raises the child.
Yeah,
right?
and
everyone is involved. Everyone has a skin in the game.
Everyone usually lives together in the same house. Like, in America, you're 18, 19, you go off to college. You're on your own.
You're an adult.
I mean, you might have some support from your parents financially, emotionally, or whatever, but you're largely on
responsible
your own.
For your own,
and left up to your own devices.
Yeah.
But in other parts of the world, like in Asia, for example, as well, they're all about their family. They're very inclusive.
Yeah.
So having this individualistic culture will breed some depression, anxiety, feeling of not belonging, feeling of being left out. If you don't have close friends or families that live in the same city as you.
If you don't have that support network.
Yeah, like.
That's a problem.
Outside of maybe your work environment, you will feel kind of depressed.
It will have its consequences on you, whether it's depression, anxiety, trouble falling asleep. Like, it gets rear its head in different ways, shapes, and forms. And I think it's important that people take stock of that, right? Like, think about how you feel, think about your emotions, think about...
Yes, I do feel like I don't want big cities to get a bad rep, like...
But they have their knock-on consequences.
Yes, I mean, it's good to come to a big city, put the work in, build yourself up, start your career, go to school, all these things. But if you don't have close people around or you're not mentally fit, you might end up feeling isolated.
Yeah, if you're not taking a pause, wherever it's daily, weekly, or whatever, to really think about, okay, is my blood pressure stable? Is the way I'm thinking regular and normal, and am I overlooking something that shouldn't be overlooked? Then I think the consequences will add up over time, and you will suffer in the long term. I just think it's important to take a pause and just reflect.
Yeah. But wait, you didn't tell me any of your mentally ill Dating stories. I told one of mine.
Oh my.
Where do you start?
Ill? Literally, where the fuck do I start? Oh, this is, I mean, it's easy. I can just pick one up. There we go, going to the bathroom. So my ex had this weird obsession. I guess you call this insecure mental illness. I don't know, I'm just making something up. I have a PhD in psychology, guys.
Wasn't he also a Marine? But he
serve? He did serve in the military. He was a Marine, but, you know, not to bash anyone who has served in the military. Thank you for your service. He too, like your date, did have mental problems and challenges, and one came out clearly when I whenever I went to the bathroom. We lived together in the same apartment. Whenever I go to the bathroom, you know, you go to the bathroom with your phone, right? If you don't, what do? Play with yourself, right? So you go with your phone to kind of occupy time and be engaged while you disengage. So. I'd be on my phone playing Candy Crush or something, or scrolling on Instagram. He would many times come, if I stay 1.5 minutes longer than I usually stay in the bathroom, he'll come knocking on the door, be like, "Open up." I'd be like, "What? So you can smell the fumes? What do you want to do?" And he'd be like, "Open up, let me see your phone." I'm like, "Sir, calm down. This is I'm literally on LinkedIn right now looking for a new job so I can help you pay your bills." You know what I mean? It's not that serious. But he did this over and over, and I was like, "Oh my God, why is he doing this?" And it's because he was insecure, and I think that stemmed from his past relationships. First of all,
he was insecure, and he had a whole host of other mental issues combined in one.
But now I can only say that because in hindsight, right?
Yeah.
When I was in the situation, I wasn't thinking, "Oh my God, there's probably something underlyingly wrong with him that needs attention. He might need to see a therapist. He might need some help." I wasn't thinking of it like that, and I think it's important for people listening or watching to us to, if you're in such a similar situation, maybe the person you're with isn't going to heal in time or heal in the future unless you help them or engage them or give them the help they need, point them in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Right?
And for anyone listening who may, we grew up, in the Caribbean, therapy is looked as something that's as taboo, but I have a therapist because I've been through a whole host of issues. Keep listening to the podcast, you'll find out. But I needed help I couldn't get from my friends or my parents, not because they didn't want to or they can't help me, they just didn't have the tools to help me. So I did go look for a therapist, and in a year, I've changed my life totally. So if you're listening and you do need the help, it's okay. If you can afford it and it's available to you, it's okay.
And I feel like most insurance is covered, right? And
if not, try to speak to someone that's close to you that you feel you can trust. And you don't have to tell them everything at once. Take it a little by little.
Your relationship with your therapist is a relationship after all. It relies on trust, and you have to build that over time.
Absolutely.
And I think it's even more important to recognize, therapy is good, given the COVID-19 pandemic. Being isolated from the world for several months wasn't healthy on anyone.
Yes.
Right?
Especially if you lived alone, or you didn't have much contact with anyone.
Exactly.
And there's also this other thing where, I feel like as a woman, and you're a man, but you're gay, you talk about your feelings all the time. Women, we talk about our feelings with each other all the time. A lot of men, I've realized, straight men, they don't talk about their feelings, so they have all this bullshit bottled up, and they don't know how to express themselves. It's so toxic.
Which breeds mental illness. Oh my God, it's a cycle, guys. It's a
breakthrough. And they project a lot of their bullshit on you.
We need to write this book, girl.
We're going to write a book. We're going to
transform the world. We're going to make the world more thoughtful and
we are changing lives.
We're changing lives, making America great again. Trump 2024.
Lied. Guys.
Did we just lose followers? Oh, I heard them dropping.
We don't support Trump.
We don't support Trump.
We're moderate.
We're moderate.
Kind of.
We're
left-leaning-ish.
You know what? That just went in a different direction I expected to go. But we're going to pick ourselves up and keep moving on.
Yes. But what we want you to take away from this podcast, guys, is look inward. It is just as important as waking up in the morning and having breakfast or going to work or whatever it is. If you find yourself feeling derailed, angry, upset, sad, depressed like I was 2 days ago, take a breather, take a moment, think about it. Why do I feel this way? What is happening right now?
Yeah, we are human beings for a reason. We are intelligent. We're not monkeys, right? We aren't robots. We just do what we do habitually and not stop and think about what we do.
I do see some people kind of act in the moment and act hastily and make mistakes. So I'm like, just relax, take a deep breath, take a bath, take a shower, go outside and go for a walk. Go walk to get a coffee and
smell the sunflowers
and think about.
We don't have sunflowers.
Your internal issues for a little bit and face them. And it takes courage to face some of your issues. Trust me, I know, I've done the work.
And we're not saying everyone has an internal issue or has mental work that they need to improve on, but it's worth knowing that you don't if you don't.
Yes.
Right? It's worth recognizing if you do that you do.
But more than likely, you probably do.
Yeah. You sniff your armpits? That's a mental illness.
No! Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. You can watch a video of the podcast on YouTube. You can just look up F My Life. Or my channel, Nona Lisa, where you can watch the podcast. I also have a vlog that I post on that channel, and you can follow me on Instagram at Nona Lisa. You can also follow the podcast. We post clips of the podcast at F My Life on Instagram. Lied doesn't want you to follow him on anything.
Do not.
He doesn't want to know you outside.
Send me money, guys.
Just Cash App him, you know. What's your Cash App?
Cash App, it's the same tag as my OnlyFans.
As your
Lightford OnlyFans.
Your
OnlyFlans.
Your OnlyFlans. Mm-hmm. That sounds delicious.
You know.
Goodbye, guys.
It's supposed to be. Bye.